Over the last year, the townhouse market in Kelowna has seen some major changes. Sales are up, prices have softened slightly over the last couple years, and inventory is still at record highs. So if you're thinking about buying or selling this year, these shifts could impact your next move in a big way. So let's break down the latest numbers, starting with the townhome sales. So this is for the Central Okanagan, the Kelowna area, otherwise known as the Central Okanagan. Starting with sales, we had 38 townhome sales in January. This is actually a 35% increase over January of 2024. We only had about 28 then. Inventory, again, it skyrocketed still. We're still up 16% over this time last year, and 340 listings right now is a record, at least over the last 10 years. The benchmark price for your typical townhome here in the Kelowna area is $742,000. For the most part, that will get you a brand new townhome, or at least something close to brand new. And that price is up 5.1% over 2024. And you'll see the pricing here in a minute. I'll go over that and towards the end of the video. Now, days to sell, if you've been following me at all, I go into depth on the days to sell a little bit here. So our board advertises the days to sell as 85 days to sell the typical townhouse right now, or on average. But I dig a little bit deeper into the sales to see if any of the listings or any of the listings have been relisted and repriced, and just to show you what the cumulative days to sell on average are. And that number turns out to be 136 days on market, what I call the real days to sell. Now, I'll just show you an example of what I mean by that. This is a real listing that ended up selling in February. Now, the advertised days to sell, so the last time it was listed, the last time they did a small price drop, and it ended up selling in 19 days. So they probably had an accepted offer within the first 4 or 5 days. The buyers typically take 10 to 14 days to do their due diligence. So 19 days on market total. That's what I call the advertised days to sell, what our board would record this sale as. But if you dig a little deeper, and the general public doesn't have this information, it's just the back end of our system. And if you dig a little bit deeper into the days on market, you'll see that this was originally listed at the end of February 2024 for $695,000. Then it sat on the market for 187 days, and over that time, they lowered it to $649, and it still didn't sell. So it sat on the market, again, 187 days. Then that listing ended up expiring on the 1st of September. Then a couple days later, they relisted it. Sat on the market for, actually they relisted it for more. I don't know why, but they relisted it for more. So at $664,000, then over the next 133 days, they lowered it by $10,000. Still didn't sell there, so they canceled the listing, repriced it, and then 19 days later, it actually sold. So this is an extreme example, but it is a real example. So this townhouse sat on the market for 339 days. Now, the price difference between the original list price and the sale price aren't that drastic. And so what I kind of take away from this is just how slow the market was in 2024. And it really just took that long to find a buyer for this property. So that there is my little rant, if you want to call it, for the days to sell or days on market. Now, the list to sale price ratio, we're sitting at 97.5%. Basically meaning on average that the buyers and sellers are negotiating 2.5% off the list price, again on average. And that's relatively high, a little bit higher than the overall average. So the condo market and single family home market, you're closer to 96, hovering around 97%. But in the townhouse market, you're a little bit higher. Now, the months of inventory, this tells us whether we're in a seller's market, balanced market, or buyer's market. And right now, we are in a buyer's market. Now, in order to get 9 months of inventory, which essentially means that if there was no more listings right now, it would take about 9 months in theory to sell off the available inventory. And this is that calculation is simply done by taking the inventory and dividing it by the number of sales. Now, just for a bit of context there, the months of inventory during the craziness of the market in 2021 and 2022, we had between or just around 2 months of inventory. Some months were under 2 months of inventory. It was a crazy time then. But now we're back into the buyer's market. It's buyer's favor right now with 9 months of inventory. And a balanced market is between about 4 and 6 months. So you can see how far we are into a buyer's market. And the absorption rate, which also tells us we're in a buyer's market at 11%, which essentially means that just over 1 in every 10 townhomes sold in the month of January. And the calculation for this, you just take the sales divided by the inventory, basically gives you 11% there. Now, if you have any questions about the Kelowna real estate market, you're looking to buy or sell, you can simply shoot me a text message to the number on the screen there, or give me a call, and we can discuss the market, or if your goals going forward for 2025, if you're looking to buy or sell. Now, let's go on to the prices for townhomes ending January 2025. Before we get into that, if you are getting any value out of this video, I invite you to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on my future videos going forward, whether it's market updates or just general information or news articles about the Kelowna real estate market. Now let's carry on with the prices here. Let's start back in January of 2020 when the world was normal before March 2020 hit. So from that time, January 2020, up to March 2022, which was the peak of the market here in the Kelowna area for townhouses, that price or the prices of a townhouse increased by 64% just during that 2-year period. And townhouses peaked out at $837,000 for your typical townhouse here. And the prices have come down slightly, not a lot. They come down about 11% since that time. And again, we're sitting at $742,000 for your typical townhouse, January 2025. Now, the market ended up bottoming. So from that date, all the months going by here, the market actually bottomed last year for the townhouse market in January of 2024. And that was just over $700,000 for your typical townhome. Now, if we take this blue line back here, this is sort of our level of support, if you will. So we're sitting at about between December and January 2022 at $742,000. That's up 5% over this time last year. 3 years ago, we're down about 3.2% from 3 years ago. But if you go back 5 years, if you've had a condo or a townhome for the last at least 5 years, your townhome has increased in value about 45%. And that does it for prices. Now, what I have here is what I consider, and what I do for all my market update videos, is the deal of the month. Now, this isn't my listing. This is just a listing that I think is a great deal right now, particularly if you're maybe an investor or a first-time home buyer. This is a great, it's between, I would call it between a condo and a townhouse. It's got its own entrance, but it's only one level. It's in what's called Bridgewater Estates in the Lower Mission, so a great area in the Lower Mission. It's $369,000. And it's at 735 Cook Road, 104D is the unit. And it's a 1-bed, 1-bath, 700 square feet, so relatively large for a 1-bedroom. And it has its own detached garage. So you will not see detached garages with condos or townhomes, yes, but this is, like I said, a condo townhome style. It's only one level. You do have your own entrance though. But yes, it does have its own detached garage. It's updated. It's 1 block to the beach. If you have a large dogs are allowed on this property. And there is a dog park on this property as well. And if you are a first-time home buyer, the down payment you need is around $18,500 for the purchase price of around $370,000. So if you are an investor or first-time home buyer or looking for a condo/townhome, affordable, with a detached garage that allows dogs close to the beach, This one might be the one for you. If you'd like more information, again, my phone number is there on the screen if you'd like to just simply shoot me a text message if you want more information. And if you happen to be a first-time home buyer, there's a video I made here, 5 mistakes to avoid if you are a first-time home buyer.